There's a certain kind of strength that doesn't roar. It doesn't need applause or validation or the noise of the crowd. It's quiet, almost invisible, but when you have it, people feel it. They can't quite explain it, but they sense you're built differently. You don't react like others. You don't chase attention. You don't crumble under rejection. You move through chaos like someone who's already seen the storm and made peace with the rain. Schopenhauer called this kind of power inner strength. Not the kind you show, but the kind you carry. Most people have it backward. They think strength is about dominance, louder voice, tougher words, bigger presence. But the truth, the one Schopenhauer kept returning to, is that real strength begins when you stop letting the world dictate your peace. When you stop letting every opinion, every noise, every disappointment crawl into your head and rearrange your mood. Because once you're dependent on outer noise to feel inner calm, you've already lost control of your life. Schopenhauer saw this everywhere. People trapped in endless comparison, constantly disturbed by what others think, chasing happiness like it's a trophy handed out by society. He once wrote, "The greatest mistake you can make is to think that what you are depends on what others think of you." That single sentence could dismantle half of modern anxiety. Think about how easily we let the smallest things disturb us. Someone doesn't reply to your message and your mind spins 100 stories. A colleague gets praise and suddenly you doubt your own worth. We are surrounded by noise, social media, gossip, competition, and we let that noise decide who we are. Schopenhauer's path was the opposite. His rule was simple. Silence is the armor of the wise. Not silence because you're weak, but silence because you've realized that nothing external has the power to touch your inner state unless you give it permission. He believed strength begins with understanding human nature, not judging it, but seeing it clearly. He said most people live as if they're asleep, driven by what he called the will, that restless force inside us that always wants more. More success, more recognition, more love, more validation. And because it never stops wanting, it never stops suffering. His solution wasn't to suppress the will, but to observe it, to see its games, and to slowly free yourself from its grip. Here's where the quiet path begins. When someone insults you, your instinct is to react. You feel the heat rising, the need to prove yourself. But if you can step back, if you can see that their words are simply the projection of their own struggle, you suddenly stop being controlled. The moment you stop reacting, you win without fighting. Schopenhauer called this mastery of reaction the highest form of wisdom, because it means you've conquered the most unpredictable battlefield, your own mind. Let me tell you a story that captures this perfectly. In the early 1800s, Schopenhauer was teaching at the same university as Hegel, who at the time was the intellectual superstar of Germany. Everyone wanted to attend Hegel's lectures. Schopenhauer, stubborn and proud, scheduled his own classes at the exact same hour, as if to challenge him directly. Almost no one showed up. Imagine that, a philosopher of genius lecturing to empty seats. Most people would have been crushed. But Schopenhauer didn't chase popularity. He doubled down on solitude. He walked alone by the river every morning, read by candlelight late into the night, and wrote his masterpiece, The World, as Will and Representation. Years later, when the world finally caught up, he became one of the most admired thinkers in history. But by then, he didn't need admiration. He had already found peace in being unseen. That's Schopenhauer's quiet path, learning to draw power from solitude instead of attention. Because when your peace depends on attention, you become fragile, always waiting for the next like, the next compliment, the next approval. But when your peace grows from solitude, you become unshakable. You realize that strength isn't loud, it's stable. It's the ability to walk through noise and remain undisturbed. There's a psychological experiment that accidentally proved this idea. Participants were told they'd be evaluated by others in a group setting. Some were secretly told that no one would be watching them. The group who thought they were being observed performed worse, felt more anxious, and reported lower confidence, even though the task was identical. Just the belief that others were watching made them weaker. That's the modern condition. A world constantly watching itself, endlessly performing. Schopenhauer's advice was, stop performing. Learn to exist without the audience. The moment you stop needing to be seen, you begin to see yourself. He once said, "A quiet life, if it is a happy one, is worth more than all the noise of the world." And he meant it literally. Because when you stop chasing validation, something extraordinary happens. Your energy stops leaking into things you can't control. You start investing it inward, reading, thinking, observing, creating, and slowly you become grounded. You stop reacting to every minor chaos and start choosing your battles with clarity. That's inner strength, not a mask of toughness, but a deep sense of calm that nothing can easily disturb. Of course, Schopenhauer's philosophy isn't about isolation or apathy. It's about discipline, emotional self-discipline. He warned that people mistake emotional reactivity for passion. But true passion, he said, is focused energy, not wasted energy. When you get angry at every insult, you hand your peace to whoever wants to provoke you. But when you remain calm, you become unpredictable. And that's where quiet power lives. Imagine two people in an argument. One is shouting, trying to dominate. The other listens, unbothered, with the stillness of someone who knows their worth. Who has the real power? The one shouting seems strong, but they're a puppet of emotion. The silent one and the one who can stay composed, that's the one people remember. Because calm is magnetic. In a chaotic world, the calm person feels like a leader, even if they never claim to be. Schopenhauer often compared human life to waves in the ocean, constantly crashing, colliding, rising, and falling. You can't control the waves, but you can learn to stay balanced on the board. That balance, that composure is what he called resignation, not in a negative way, but as peaceful acceptance. When you stop expecting life to be easy, you stop being shocked when it's hard. That's the paradox. Once you accept suffering as part of existence, it loses its power to control you. He said, "The person who least expects anything from the world is the one who enjoys it most." Because when you no longer demand constant comfort or validation, every small joy becomes precious. A quiet morning, a book, a walk, a thought that changes your perspective. That's not weakness. That's strength so rare that most people don't even recognize it when they see it. But here's the challenge. Schopenhauer's path isn't glamorous. It won't make you instantly admired or popular. It's slow, uncomfortable, and often misunderstood. People might call you detached, or cold, or boring. That's fine. Let them. Because while they're busy chasing the next external high, you're quietly building a foundation that can't be shaken. You're becoming someone whose peace doesn't depend on the weather of the world. So here's how you apply it. Start small. The next time you feel the pull to prove yourself, pause. When someone tries to provoke you, breathe instead of react. When you catch yourself scrolling for validation, stop. Go for a walk. Let silence do the work. That's not withdrawal. That's practice. You're rewiring your attention from external noise to internal clarity. And soon, something shifts. The things that used to shake you start to feel distant, like echoes instead of earthquakes. You notice that your mind becomes still even when life isn't. You stop explaining yourself to people who don't understand you. You stop begging for peace. You start creating it. That's Schopenhauer's quiet path. Strength through stillness, power through peace. And maybe the best part, once you stop needing to prove your strength, people will start feeling it. They'll see it in your eyes, in the way you speak, in your calm presence. You'll notice people treat you differently, not because you demanded respect, but because you've become someone who doesn't need to. So if this idea resonated with you, don't just agree with it. Practice it. Choose silence over reaction once today. Protect your peace like it's oxygen. And remember Schopenhauer's timeless truth. The world will always be loud, But the strongest souls are those who have mastered the art of being quietly unshaken.